Hello everybody, this is Geosuke here yet again with another cast. Let's actually get this game underway. And we are going to be on Dusk Towers here yet again. Going to be between me, the blue Terran spawning in the bottom right of Dusk Towers, versus our opponent. Do we have actually music? Okay, there we go. And it is going to be our opponent, the red Terran spawning in the top right of Dusk Towers. It is going to be, okay, we can do this. I think this says One Piece, and I think this says Hwang Hyung. And we're just going to call him our Korean buddy, because I don't want to butcher the name anymore. So it looks like we are going to be going for a gas first, going to be speeding things up a little bit at the beginning, because again, nothing really happens for a couple of minutes. He's going to be throwing his barracks down, not going to be opting to go for the wall, and so probably going to be throwing another or a couple more supply depots here, probably. I'm going to be using an SCV to scout around my main base, just trying to be safe against those proxy Reaper builds, and I do opt to go up and scout this area, so I should be pretty safe. The barracks will not finish until roughly 1:30-ish. There's this giant area which I didn't scout though, that he could have had hidden barracks though, so I should definitely keep that in mind. Do have the SCV now scouting out his base, see the natural expansion, try to be annoying with this little SCV, but he does have a Reaper here. And Reapers definitely do more DPS than SCVs. Going to be throwing down my barracks, getting up my factory and starport. It looks like I'm doing this Widow Mine drop build that I've been doing for a while now. And going to be getting up my natural expansion, a little bit delayed compared to our opponent. Going to be throwing down a grenade with this Reaper, and doesn't get too much scouting information. Don't kill off the Reaper as well. Have my Widow Mine finally out, and okay, so the game has finally picked up, so we're going to be slowing things down a bit. Factory now is going to be producing a couple of Hellions for his defense. It looks like he is going to be getting a barracks with a tech lab as well as a starport here. And I'm going to be getting just a Hellion to go out across the map. Looks like the medevac is just finished for me as well. Going to be probably lifting up all of my units. Go! Lift! To the medevac! Go! Okay, so now here we go, and going to finally be dropping. He still has his Reaper at my third base just to check for an attack possibly coming from my third, or scouting my third base timing. And our opponent is going to just be continually producing Hellions. I'm going to be starting up a Viking. He does switch that barracks and the tech lab, so it is now going to be Banshees on the production tab. Going to be getting our medevac down here and dropping into his main base. Doing a little bit of a little bit of damage. Going to have the Widow Mine burrowed here, and he's going to be sending in a single SCV. I think I tried to select the Widow Mine and deactivate it, but was unable to do so. So only getting one SCV kill with that Widow Mine. And the Widow Mine's splash damage actually doesn't one-shot SCVs to begin with, so all it really could have done was some more splash damage. But that would have been extremely helpful for the Marines to finish him off. Going to be getting that missile turret in my main base, or in his main base I should say as well, and that drop went around as poorly as it could have. So in terms of the units, he is actually behind us in SCVs. This seems to be a theme for some reason, but he's behind us in SCVs, but he has had his orbital command and command center for a little bit longer, so he should have been able to mine a little bit more than us. Has a lot of Hellions out on the map as well, and we don't have too many units actually. Have 2 Marines, a Viking, and 2 Hellions, which are actually out on the map on his side of the base. Just trying to scout out for possible attacks and scout out when his third base is coming, but in the meantime, Hellions! Going to be roasting every single Marine that we have, and we are in a pretty bad spot here. Going to be roasting a few of our SCVs as well here, so man, this is going pretty bad. Going to be picking off a Hellion or 2, landing the Viking to help kill off the Hellions. And Vikings are actually pretty good against Hellions. Hellions don't do that great against them, so going to be picking those off. Banshee going to be coming into the natural expansion, but I predicted it. I think I saw the tech lab with the Banshee. So I'm going to be getting a couple of missile turrets up in both of the mineral lines. We just lost 20 workers, so I do have a Viking to fend off this Banshee. Do not chase it, and Because I don't actually micro it, look at this, the Banshee cloak finished, and we probably could have killed it off, but because micro very bad, Banshee is going to be coming back in here. Now starting to pick at the Marines, and our unit's loss tab is just going to get more and more sad in terms of income. We are almost caught up with our opponent. We do have our third base up, and our opponent still doesn't actually have his up yet, going to be opting for his fourth and fifth barracks. Banshee is still doing damage into the main base here, and picking off some more SCVs. I'm going to be using a scan. And I've said it before, but man, scans are expensive, and I already threw down a couple of missile turrets. You really need 3 missile turrets, I feel, at least, in order to defend your base. But even then, he could still start, like, picking off tech labs. I think he could probably attack this tech lab. Another Banshee going to be popping in here and killing off a couple of Marines. Going to be getting this SCV before it finishes building the turret, and that's one of the most annoying feelings in the world here. I'm going to be scanning, and because the scan was a little bit off, the Banshee is going to be getting out of my base, and no problem here. Oh, but he pops back in, and the missile turret is going to finish, and that should be the end of this Banshee's life. I do notice that he still doesn't have his third base with this little Hellion force here. He does have another Banshee back here. Let's see if he remembers it. Doesn't look like it for the time being. Does have both of the gas geysers in his natural expansion. I have not opted for that yet, and I'm still okay in terms of gas. Just a little bit behind in terms of our upgrades here. Actually, our +1 attack is ahead of our opponents. Where did that Banshee go? It looks like it was attacking these Marines, but I scanned with our force, killed it off. Do have our combat shields a lot earlier than our opponent. Do we have stim pack as well? So we have that going for us at least, and we are floating our third CC. Going to be getting a missile turret in the mineral line just in case he continually produces Banshees, and that's what he's going to do with his starport. You never know. He might have had another Banshee hidden in his base as well here. But in terms of units lost, we're doing pretty bad. We're doing pretty bad. We are around 9 SCVs, I think, behind. Oh, wait. Yeah, around 9 SCVs behind, unfortunately for us. But he's going to be coming in with this army. I do scout it with this one Marine, and I think I was sending some Marines out just to scout the positioning of his army. And he comes in, but I do have a couple of tanks in position. These Marines, because they have combat shield, man, look at the combat shield power. Such a strong upgrade, and I scanned to try and pick off the medevac, but because it was a little bit late, unable to get that because of the little cliff thing right here. Yay, cliff things. So, because we remembered our very important critical upgrades and our opponent forgot them, we were able to level things out in terms of income. We are actually ahead of our opponent, and we do have our third base up a lot earlier than our opponent as well, so lost a lot in the early game, but we are going to be leveling things out, surprisingly, so things are looking pretty good for us. Going to be sending a couple of Marines into positions to spot for drops, and actually, wait, does this Marine kill this medevac? I definitely didn't notice this in the game. That's amazing. Go Marine. That's awesome. Wow, that makes me really happy. And so I see this, his third base has just landed. I noticed that he really wasn't looking, so I'm going to be dropping a couple of tanks in his natural expansion, getting a couple of SCV kills, and going to be stimming in the front. Going to be getting a few kills, but ultimately this attack isn't going to be going too great for us. These Vikings look like they're going to be picked off as well here. They could have been landed on top of these tanks to possibly deal damage, but in the meantime, drop action. Going to be losing even more SCVs this game, man. 37 workers have been killed off for us. And we do have a little Marine force here, going to be clearing things up, finally. And in terms of production, our upgrades, they have officially fallen behind our opponents, unfortunately. He's getting +2/+1, and because we didn't stay consistent, or we possibly got the engineering bay and the armory later than our opponent, it is going to be, well, it's just delayed. We have a bunch of idle Marines in our main base. Marines, group up with the friends. Your friends. Your brothers, man. Well, they're gonna be taking like a cigarette break or something in the main base. They're like damaged as well, man. Damaged goods. In the meantime, our opponent going to be just turtling on his bases, getting a sensor tower in the main base to scout for drops. And I mean, in terms of army, we're pretty far behind actually as well, and us being behind in especially marine upgrades, that's pretty painful. Going to be repairing a couple of the medevacs that were damaged in some part of the game. I think he scanned our army, and I'm going to be lifting up a few marines in a couple of medevacs. Going to be splitting them off from my army and just trying to deal some damage. I do see the sensor tower up here, but I mean, if you just hide in this corner and then you boost in, there's not much time for a player to react. So he has to be in position anyway. So I'm going to be scanning. Do see where his army is. Great scan by me. Go me. But in the meantime, our opponent is going to be stimming up here. I don't have everything in position. Going to be getting a couple of nice tank shots off on our opponent's army, but he has so many tanks. He has so many tanks. And because of it, he's just going to be picking off pretty much everything that we have. A lot of the marines that we had were actually just stuck over here, and this micro was terrible. The marines and the medevacs weren't grouped up at all. He's going to be able to lift up all the tanks again and just park it at our third base. And because we kind of attack with like everything one at a time, you can just see how important it is to group up your army together. The marines are going to be funneling in one by one, and it's just going to picking off everything. I tried to do the drop in the main base and was able to get it down, but he already had so many units by the time this drop went off that he was able to defend it very, very easily. The micro at this point, I think I had one medevac right here, and I had another medevac over here. I think one of the medevacs was still in a control group for the main army back at my base, and because of it, it just like split up the medevacs, and everything just went to poop. So towards the middle game, we were able to like bring it back into our favor. And the early game, that just went horribly, but we were able to survive the pressure, and because of it, we were able to macro back up. But ultimately, just because of some key upgrades that we forgot to get, and the army positioning just being slightly off, and our control being suboptimal, I guess that's the only word we can say, that is going to be that. So it was a pretty good game, pretty back and forth. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, concerns, or comments, or suggestions for stream ideas, then just let me know. Thanks for watching as always. Hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys later.